Welcome to the BIM Studio Talk. Today we have an interesting company, BIMobject, and two interesting gentlemen, Karl Silbersky, the CEO of BIMobject, and Johannes Reischböck, Senior Vice President and co-founder of BIMobject. So, BIMobject was founded 2011 in Malmö, Sweden. Now, meanwhile, 1.7 million users are using your software. I think this is very impressive. Did you, when you started the company, did you think the success will be so huge? And what's the secret of your success?
Of course, when we started the company, especially Stefan Larsen, the main founder of our company, we wanted to achieve something. So we believed in what we are doing, but we had no clear picture what is success. We just did it because we believed that is something what people need. So we spent 20 years before in the CAD industry, and we have seen the needs that designers, architects need manufacturer-specific objects. And so we thought, okay, that is something that makes sense to do. Where we ended now, that is really, I'm pretty proud of what we achieved here during the years.
And the success secret is the knowledge. Is it knowledge of the industry, or what would you say? What's the secret?
The secret is, I think, has several fathers. So you cannot say it's just one thing. So of course, it has to do with experience. It has to do with an idea what Stefan had when we discussed that during our time when we were traveling around in Asia. So in our former company, we discussed it, and then we came to the point of that is the next big thing what we should start. And then you need the right people, you need a team, we very early found our CTO, Ben O'Donnell, and then we just did it. And the market proved that we were right. So even thanks to our early adopter customers like Schüco or Metavel or so, who just said, okay, we believe that's the right thing to do, and helped us to grow. And so finally we arrived where we are.
Perfect, so the right idea and the right execution. So Karl, how large is BIMobject today?
Like you mentioned, it's 1.7 million users, registered users on the database. We have approximately 1,600 manufacturers on our platform, and approximately 400,000 parametric BIM objects on platform. So that means that we are approximately 10 times larger than the nearest competitors in our industry. 10 times larger than anybody else. So we can provide an unprecedented quality to our BPMs that doesn't even compare to our competitors. That is great. But also on top of that one, that allows us to develop tools that help the users to gain more insights into the manufacturing products, as well as it helps manufacturers to understand the users. So I think this is a marketplace, and you can compare that to many other marketplaces where you need to have so much content to serve in the right way.
So what exactly does BIMobject do in easy words so that everybody understands your mission?
So what we are doing, we are running a platform where architects, designers, engineers can find manufacturer-specific objects to use it during their BIM design. So, and you can find it always on the same procedure, with the same way of doing it, because an architect normally has to deal with 250 different companies during a design process. And to find it on every single, this content on every single website of a manufacturer, it's a very, very tough job for him. So the easier way is to go to BIMobject, search for it, find it, download it, use it.
I like to fill in there. So I continue on to Johannes. It's like, what Johannes describes is exactly what happens when you are searching for information on net. You don't want to browse 100 different manufacturers. You want to get to one place. It happens in any industry, and it's a classic digitalization. Netflix is the example of today, Spotify is the example today. You don't go differently, you don't download, you just go to one place where you can understand the manufacturers. That's where you want to be. And I think that is the uniqueness of BIMobject, and that's where BIM is for us.
Okay, got it. Perfect. Hannes, you're a true expert. I know you since years. You're a true expert of the industry. You're in the industry since 30 years, in Germany and worldwide. So how do you see the industry in 5 or 10 years? What's the future? And are we in Germany on track, or are we missing something?
So I think in the moment we are going through the biggest change in industry since the Romans' time. So going away from drafting on a sheet of paper, and then even when we had the CAD programs, it was an electronic paper. So now with modeling, that is changing all the processes, not only the drawing itself, even how we execute on the construction side, how we prepare and all these things. And that is not something which happens from one day to the next. So that takes time. So in the moment when I finished my university in '86, so that means in these days nobody talked about BIM. But now I'm in an age where I consider myself as the level of the age of the decision makers. So it will take more time until the students who are learning BIM already in university come to a point where they make the decisions in companies, and then it becomes a normal standard tool. So as of today, how we are in Germany, of course, in Germany we have a little bit different situation from other countries like US, like Scandinavia, where you deal with huge architectural offices. So 1,000, 1,500 architects in one office. For them it's easy to have a department for BIM. So with 10, 15 people, and they prepare everything, they train internally. But if you look here in Germany, where the normal architectural office are 7, 8, 9 people, so for them, it's very, very hard to find the necessary budget to pay for one guy who is researching the BIM technologies, and you have to say a non-productive person in an architectural office. So that's the reason why I think in Germany it's a little bit harder, and it will take maybe sometimes longer than in other countries, but definitely it will come. And we are living in a globalized world. Even when the Brits are leaving, I think the European Union will come closer and closer together, even when it comes to construction material, when it comes to standard, when it comes to norms and these kind of things.
Carl, how do you see it internationally, and what's your vision for the next years for BIMobject? Where you want to go with the company?
That's a good question. It's two-parted. First, I'd like to say that I believe in the word like software eats the world. So what Hannes described now is like digitalization is just going to increase. And it's increasing across everything. Everything's becoming digital. That is not digital. Even in the construction industry, it will be massively digitalized over the next couple of years. So we are part of that. We are an enabler for that digitalization. We enable the manufacturers to get visible in front of the architects firm that Hannes described. We enable them, like Hannes said, like 100 of the largest architect firms in the world download BIM objects every day. So every major project in the world that gets built is using an object for BIM objects. So where do we take it from here? It looks like we're growing 100% on user base a year.
Once again, 100%?
100% a year from last year. So that's the users, they're doubling. And that just shows the interest in it. On the content side, when it comes to manufacturer, we are looking to make it easier and enabling for manufacturers to get onto our platform in a better way, in a much smarter way. So that means that we will take on and help much more manufacturers looking for help and wants to be exposed to architects and engineers. That's in the immediate near future. And then again, our mission is to, this is our clear mission, is to, if we succeed of helping manufacturers, we will also succeed in helping our planet. The waste in the BIM construction, in the construction is 30% is waste when you're building a building. With BIM, you can reduce that massively. So yeah, we want to continue building out, helping manufacturers, and in that sense also helping the planet with less waste.
So BIMobjects will have answers and tools for the future to solve big problems for the planet.
No doubt about it. It's one of the most essential tools. And that's why in countries, and you look at many countries we see now are saying it's legislation to you need to have BIM standard when building any building or construction. That's where we're going. It's becoming a standard.
Very impressive. So all the best for the future. Continue. I see the company will grow in the future again, and it will have an impact how we do things in the future and how we handle the construction industry and solve problems like waste reduction in the construction industry. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you here at the BIM World Munich. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
It was a pleasure for us.